Hey guys, welcome back. So we got a couple little projects we're going to work on today. Some of it has to do with winterizing, getting the yard and some of the things ready, and then also working on the garden beds. Now, one of the things that we have to do is Michelle wants to bring in one of the plants we have on the back porch, bring it inside for winter, but prior to doing that, we want to make sure there's no bugs or fungus or anything growing in it or around it. So I'm going to be treating it with a neem oil. It's going to be a Bonide neem oil. Spray it down, let that sit overnight, and then we'll bring it in tomorrow and start the winterizing process. After that, I've got to lay a few stones down underneath the porch. I'll leave a clip for the video of the us laying down all the gravel. But I'm going to be putting stones, the paver stones that I removed from there, putting back underneath there, creating a pathway for the trailer, so I can winterize and put the trailer underneath there. Now, next thing after that, we do have some concern about the garden. I was talking to one of the neighbors, and they had mentioned that at one point there was a pool here. And the way he described it is the pool was there one day and it was gone the next. So we don't know if the pool was just filled in and the concrete left here, or if the concrete was removed and then the dirt was filled in. We do have a couple sinkholes that we've been filling in as we find them, right in the area where the pool was supposed to have been. But the way he described to where the pool went, it looks like it may have touched right where we are putting our very first post for the fence line. So that being a concern, because if it's still concrete underneath there, that's going to be a whole mess of problems that we don't want to deal with. So we are going to try it, test it out. I've got a couple post hole diggers and an auger. We're going to try to get that in, dig as deep as we can, make sure there's nothing there. And from there, that will create the basis of our actual fence. So once we dig that hole, we know where it is. I'll pound in a stake, run some strings, and I'll explain that a little bit better once I get that in. There's a... You learn this in geometry, the Pythagorean theorem, as a basis of finding exactly what a right angle is. Once you find that right angle and it matches up, you do a second right angle opposite of it, and that should be it. Once you do that and run the distance, you should have a rectangle or a square based on your measurements. For those that don't remember, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. We will be doing some math once we get it all set up and try to figure it all out and make sure everything matches up right. But that's after we make sure there's no concrete underneath there. Other than that, we are just going to get the beds ready. That'll be a separate, after I find where the corners are going to be and where the fence outline is going to be, I will measure out exactly where I want the first bed to go. Once I get that first bed set, I'm going to start getting that ready right away. I'm going to dig all the stone out. I'm going to start using the hugelkultur method and start filling it in. Once I get that filled in and get the soil processed and everything all set with it, at that point we are going to get our garlic in. I'm hoping to get all this in this weekend, get this all done this weekend. There'll be multiple videos. They'll be coming up over the course of the next week or so. So if you have any questions about this video, please leave them in the comment section below or send me a message. But we are testing a new product out right now. I do have a new lavalier set that you saw in a previous video. But I also have a brand new wireless set called Traver. It's a nice little wireless set. It is a lot easier to use than some of the other ones I've tried. So we're going to test this out. It seems to be pretty good with the volume. I hope you can tell that. But we're going to be using it out, testing it out, and we'll see where its pluses and minuses are throughout the day. So we've got a lot of work to get going. The boys are out here with me, but they aren't going to last much longer. So we're going to try to get as much work done as I can before I put them down for their naps. Then we'll be right back out here to finish up. So let's get started. Good job. You are strong. Good job, bud. trying to gauge where this fence should start, and I'm thinking I want to try to make it as big as possible or to encompass everything I can. But I'm thinking right in this area is where that first post is going to go. I'm going to base everything off of what I find right here at this moment. So I'm finding something, but I don't know what it is yet. It looks to be just stones. No, you can't go in the hole.
Look at my hand.
No. All right, so as far as I can tell, I got 2 feet deep. It was a lot easier to dig this hole than it was the flagpole up front. It probably took me, from what I watched on the video, I started it, so just around 7 minutes. Now, I will not be digging every hole by hand because I'm not insane. There is a local company that rents out a hydraulic auger that will make quick work of this. So I'll be renting that, and I'll be doing that in probably a week or two to get this done, get all those posts in. From there, I still have to make a determination of how I'm going to fill these holes, whether it's going to be natural with dirt and rock, whether it's going to be cement, or it's going to be this new product out there. I guess it's not new, it's new to me. It's like a foam, a post foam. It's lightweight, sets in 4 minutes. So that might be interesting to try that out and see how that works. So we have a few finalizing details to figure out regarding the actual fence itself. But in the meantime, we are going to set the actual corner. So we're going to actually set up the string here and find out exactly where everything's going to go. And then from there, we're going to measure everything out and make a determination on where everything is going to go. So we got a little bit of work ahead of us, and we are fast approaching a deadline for the boys. So we got to get working. All right, first thing we're going to do is we're going to tie off our string on this side. We're going to make sure it stays on the outer portion, and then we'll fix it to the other side as well. And this will give us an outside of our 2x4. So this creates a variation of a right angle. Now, whether or not this is actually a right angle really depends on the next bit of math that we have to do. All right, now for the hole. This portion, what we're going to be doing is some simple math. We're going to be using 3 feet and 4 feet because 3 squared plus 4 squared equals 5 squared. So what we'll do is we'll measure out 3 feet one direction, 4 feet the other direction, and it doesn't matter which direction you go. And I find in this case, the easiest way that you're going to accomplish this is by having 2 sets of measuring tape and then be able to mark it and then use one of them to measure the 5 feet in between. So you're going to go from this corner right here and you're going to measure out one way and then the other way. And again, it doesn't matter which direction you go or which footing. Now in this case, if we're lucky, we will get 5 feet right away. But if we're not, then we have to make an adjustment at the end of these 2 strings to find where that right angle is. So you're about possibly half an inch off. Now I've chosen to move this area versus the other one just because I've got a lot more movement available. And just based on the line I cut, it looks like this can move out probably 2 to 3 inches and be okay. So we're just gonna give it. Now I've moved that about 3 inches, and that looks like 3 inches covered about half an inch. I'm not perfect, but that does look like a right angle. Now today I'm not actually getting the stuff set up for the fence, but instead I'm trying to find placement of the boxes just so I can start getting them ready. All right, so here what we wanted to do is we wanted to go about 7 feet, and looks like we are about 4 to 5 inches short. So the reason why is we want to be able to have an area potentially for a little side bed right here, whether it's to grow berries or other crops. We would open this area up for planting as well as on the outside without interference, especially if we have a spillover crop like a pumpkin or a squash or something like that. So it looks like it's got to go that way just a little bit. So we want 3-inch space, or 3-foot space for a potential bed, and then another 4-foot space for walking around. So, and then on the other side we want about 3 to 4 feet. I think I made this one 3 feet from the edge. So right here we're going to move it another, looks like 4 inches. Now to take this to 4 feet, so we have a 4-foot spacer for walking, we are actually going to have that 40 inches instead of 48, so we got to go 8 inches in. Alright, that's 4 feet. Now you just got to measure and check to make sure both ends it's 4 feet. And then we'll double check our lines here, and then that'll be the final placement of it. Alright, we're good there. Double check our 7-foot marker. And I thought I'd show you guys, we are going to be using, so we'll be using this bed as a reference point when putting all the rest of the beds in. So we will measure them out to make sure that they're the 7 feet from each other. And I'll probably do the far end one first. But then once that's done, we'll split the difference, and that's where this bed will end up going. And then we'll mimic that on the other side. We do also want to do the 7 feet on the other side because we do have the cherry tree over here that we have to consider. That we want to make sure this has enough room to grow inside the fence line so the deer will stop eating it. And that maybe next year that we will get more than 2 cherries from it. All right guys, so that is it. We got everything done. We got the neem oil on the plants are ready to come in probably tomorrow. The trailer's put away. We started utilizing our blocks that we took out from the last, when we started laying down the stone. We do not have any concrete underneath our garden area, which is huge for us because now we can just start digging. Now, the one thing I was really surprised about is with how rocky our soil is around here. When I dug the hole for the flagpole up front, I was hitting stones constantly. When I start planting the trees and the shrubs in the front yard, I'm constantly hitting large stones. I would say in this hole, I maybe found 2 or 3 about the size of a baseball, but that's about it. Some small ones, but nothing really all that big. So maybe this is just we're hitting filler, where they dug all the concrete out and they filled it in. But that makes me a lot more confident about digging the rest of the holes here and getting everything done with a hydraulic auger. But that will be a future video that will be coming up this year, I hope. But other than that, the beds are set up for the hugelkultur. We need to start digging out the stone from the bottom, and then we'll start filling them all in. We have a lot of the stuff that's ready to go, and we'll start getting that going in the coming videos. So if you guys have any questions, comments, just leave them in the comments section. Otherwise,
thanks for watching, and we see you soon.